We're going to get started. I'll call this meeting of the Red Oak Independent School District to order at 7 p.m. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present. This meeting has been duly called, and the notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. All board members are present at this time. We welcome back Mr. Johnny Knight. It's good to see you up here tonight. Mr. Knight, would you lead us in the invocation, please?
Yes, I will. Father, we just thank you for allowing us to be here, Father. Father, tonight that we can have understanding of the businesses of school, Father, to look at the future, look at the past, Father. And then also, let's work in the now. Father, the things that are going on, the things that are happening, Father, we know we've got a bond there. Father, we know we've got things, just the growth that we're having so big that's really turning over to us, Father, that you actually sent them our way. So let's work together to house these children and to teach these children, Father. You'll give them an education they'll never forget. They came from Red Oak. You know, it's a blessing to be able to do that. And Father, with the teachers we have, our administrators, everybody that takes part in this district, Father, it's been a blessing. You blessed us so richly with that. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Story, would you introduce our pledge leader, please?
Listen out. Maybe it's not working. Okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. Red Oak Elementary is very, very proud to host our pledge leader this evening. This is Miss Nina Anyanwu. She is a 5th grader at Red Oak Elementary.
Awesome.
She's 10 years old, and her parents are Emmanuel and Linda. She has 3 sisters and 1 brother. Our young student is in the 5th grade at Red Oak Elementary. Her teacher is Miss Freeman, and her favorite subject is math. She enjoys playing basketball and jumping on the trampoline. Her favorite book is Dork Diaries. The young lady wants to be a doctor. The person she most admires is her mom. Something she likes about herself is she has lots of siblings to play with.
All right, if y'all will please stand with us for our pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Awesome. Good work.
This is all that was handed to me.
Yeah, can we have her come back up and get a picture? Sorry for the confusion. Next, we'll move into our recognitions. Ms. Sanford.
We're going to start with our top hawks. Ms. Knight, if I can get you to go on down. For the 2022-2023 school year, Red Oak ISD has partnered with area businesses to recognize our outstanding students at each campus and our district staff. Top Hawk celebrates those students who rise to the top. Each grading period, campuses will select Top Hawks, one boy and one girl from their entire school based on the 4 talons of the Hawk. Each elementary school winner will receive a $25 gift card, and each middle school and high school winner will receive a $50 gift card. That is thanks to our sponsor for this, Baylor, Scott and White in Waxahachie. We are joined tonight with Justin Pond to present the certificates and gift cards. Donna Knight will be assisting him. So as I call your name, if you would please come forward. From Eastridge Elementary, we have a 3rd grade boy, Jace Johnson. And elementary, if you'll stay up here, just stay up here. There you go. And Eastridge, we have Collins Hale. Red Oak Elementary, Hudson West. Hudson is a kindergartner. Jason Collins are 3rd graders. And Red Oak Elementary, 2nd grader, Abigail Espinoza. Fifth grade boy from Shields Elementary, Dylan Elam. And Shields Elementary, 3rd grade girl, Michaela Battle. Shutman Elementary, 2nd grade boy, Corey Dennis. Shutman Elementary, 2nd grade girl, Ariana Franks. Wooden Elementary, 4th grade boy, Jacob Arriaga. And from Wooden Elementary, 1st grade girl, Elise Edwards. And these are our elementary Top Hawks. We're going to take a district picture, and then also you'll have a chance to come on up and take pictures as well. Congratulations. We're going to move now into our secondary students. From Red Oak Middle School, 6th grade, boy Christopher Pajada. And from Red Oak Middle School, 6th grade girl, Juliana Lozano. And from Red Oak High School, senior Javier Rodella. And senior girl, Hannah Maddox. Okay, these outstanding sponsors also recognize our Hawk Staff Spotlight, from our bus drivers and office staff to principals, custodians, teachers, and more. Our Hawk Nation consists of the best of the best. Every day, Hawk staff go above and beyond in a variety of ways. We opened the nomination for Hawk Staff Spotlight in September and received over 100 nominations from parents, staff, and students. A committee then selected the top nominees. Tonight's winner, again sponsored by Baylor Scott and White and Waxahachie, receiving a certificate and a $100 gift card. Congratulations to our Red Oak Middle School Band Director, Miss Megan Zaworski. You can read about her nomination on our social media post, but I did pull the following excerpt just to give you some information. She's an encourager, confidence builder, and she really sees the kids where they are. My daughter has been loved on and encouraged. She gives her time and soul to her students. She always has fun while doing her work. She's there when we need her, and she goes above and beyond to make sure we are all okay. So congratulations. We have one other recognition. Did we give you his, Benedicto? Mr. Gatewood, if you would come up. I'm going to read a little bit about this and let you present this certificate. Do we have Mr. Benedicto Sanchez here? If you would come on up. And we have Mr. Sanchez here because he has received a letter of commendation, which signifies his designation as a commended student in the National Merit Scholarship Program. His high selection index score placed him among the top 50,000 students who entered the 2023 National Merit Program by taking the 2021 preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. Congratulations to you for your excellent performance. You're among about 34,000 commended students nationwide who have shown exceptional academic promise. It's a big honor. Congratulations. Yes.
Okay. It is also National Principals Month. This is from the State of Texas Office of the Governor. Principals are entrusted with profound responsibility in the education of Texas children. Children are our most precious resource, and our children truly hold the fate of our people in their hands. Indeed, the promise of a brighter tomorrow can be seen most clearly through the eyes of a child. Therefore, a rigorous and well-rounded education is of the utmost importance for the destiny of our state. It is inextricably linked to the development of our students. During our students' formative years, principals play a crucial role in the molding of our young minds and, in turn, the shaping of our state's future. Consummate professionals, principals make an enormous impact on students and teachers alike on a daily basis. The role of a principal requires competence and compassion in equal measures, and the task of education demands both an iron will and a heart of gold. Without losing sight of the noble mission at hand, principals are called upon to cast a concrete vision for their school and to work tirelessly towards it. Principals share a steadfast desire to make an impact on young people, and they pursue the honorable goal assiduously in ways unseen, seen and unseen. As leaders of their schools, these educators set the academic tone by laying out ambitious goals, enforcing rigorous standards, and implementing policies with wisdom and resolve. Though a principal's role is no doubt demanding, no school could function without one. If a school is to be productive and orderly, its principal must be an adept communicator, a firm disciplinarian, a savvy analyst, and a judicious policymaker. This vital work cultivates an environment in which students can grow and thrive, and it molds the next generation of leaders as a result. Principals among the hardest workers in our society, and their work is vital to the stability and security of our state. Each year, the month of October is set aside to honor our principals and to recognize the pivotal role they play in the lives of our students, families, faculty, and staff. Their inexhaustible devotion helps to secure a better, brighter tomorrow by investing in the children of today. At this time, I encourage all Texans to learn more about the many contributions and accomplishments of elementary, middle, and high school principals across our state. Principals create cultures of excellence wherein students can achieve their full potential, thereby ensuring the Texas future will be brighter for all. Therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim October 2022 to be Principals Month in Texas and urge the appropriate recognition whereof. In official recognition whereof, I hereby affix my signature this 16th day of August 2022. Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas.
Awesome. And we do have the best of the best. As I call your name, if you would come up and remain standing, please, until the end. Miss Ashley Jackson from Shutman Elementary. Allison Bell, Shields Elementary. Rachel Rector, Eastridge Elementary. Jessica Trezza, Wooden Elementary. Marilee Stone, Red Oak Elementary. Rob Waller, Red Oak Middle School. And Howard Gatewood, Red Oak High School.
Stand up, Melanie.
And principals, if you would stay up here, principals, if you would stay up here. Ms. Shulik has something she would like to present as well.
The curriculum department wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for all you do for our students and tell you what a pleasure it is to work with each of you. In order, Ms. Stone has an outstanding understanding of curriculum and instruction, leadership, and she loves her kids. Ms. Rector is an advocate for her students and her staff, and she does whatever it takes to make her campus successful. Ms. Bell always has a positive attitude and a smile, and she has a great vision for her campus that never wavers. Ms. Jackson is a systems thinker, a planner all the time, and a problem solver. Ms. Trezza joined us this year. She hit the ground running, learning Red Oak, and she always has a positive attitude. Mr. Waller keeps all his staff moving in the same direction with regards to culture and growth on the campus. Mr. Gatewood is a strong leader with a clear vision as an instructional leader, and if I had to tell you his superpower, it is filling every position on his campus. Okay.
Thank y'all. Appreciate all you do.
This is a great time. You're welcome to stay, but if you came for an award, this is the awesome time to step out.
Congratulations to all of you.
Next, we have the superintendent's report. Ms. Sam.
And we're going to start with Red Oak ISD State Reading Academy by our curriculum coordinator, Becky Waller.
Good evening. Just going to make sure it's really close. We just wanted to update you on the State Reading Academy. We've been talking about this for the last couple of years, but it's a fairly large initiative in our elementaries. And so this is our last year to be in compliance, so we just wanted to give you an update of where we are with that compliance. So this is a requirement given to us by the state of Texas. We didn't create this, but it's about 60 hours of instruction time for all of our teachers and administrators that work with anybody in kindergarten through 3rd grade. So those, if you're a special education teacher, an administrator, small group instruction, those people all have to get to participate. So they get to do quizzes, responses, a video artifact, and a written artifact. So it's a pretty aggressive course to do over the course of 11 months. So the first year we participated was 2021. That was coming right off of COVID. So we chose to do a small group. We did our support staff, principals, instructional coaches, anybody that really wasn't in an actual classroom, so that we had a little bit more leeway with them. And then last year for 21-22, we went all in and did anybody that had not participated and needed to. We did everybody that was left last year. So we had a pretty large group last year. We held some graduation parties because it was quite a feat for them to participate in. There were 2 pathways that we participated in last year. There was a biliteracy and an English pathway. So for the English pathway, even though they didn't have to participate, we had 3 district administrators that participated because they felt like if they were going to guide the instruction in the district, it was important for them to participate. And so we had 3 people that braved that last year from the administration building and participated. At Eastridge Elementary, Ms. Rector was new, and so she got to participate last year. And so that was a feat to participate in your first year as an administrator. And then Ms. Barbie, along with 13 of the teachers at Eastridge. Red Oak Elementary was our largest group. We had Ms. Stone, along with 21 of their teachers and staff, participated in the cohort last year. Shutman Elementary, Mr. Northcutt, along with one of the instructional coaches that was new that had not previously participated, along with 15 of their teachers participated in the academy. At Shields, we had Ms. Griffin, did not do it the year before, and then we had 19 teachers at Shields that participated. And then at Wooden, both of the administrators had participated previously, so we had 14 teachers at Wooden that participated. Oops, sorry, let me change the slide. So we had 14 teachers from Wooden Elementary that participated last year. So that was quite a few to get through all the artifacts and all of that last year, thinking we were going to have a normal year. And so that was a lot for them to take on last year with the 60 additional hours in addition to what they did in the classroom. We were also able to participate in the biliteracy pathway that really catered more to our bilingual teachers. And so part of the coursework was similar or was exactly the same as the English pathway. And then the pieces of literacy that are native to the Spanish language were different. And so we had one district administrator that runs our bilingual program, Magda Davis, participated along with the instructional coach for bilingual, one of the reading support teachers, and then we had 4 teachers that participated in that one. So their content was a little bit different, and they had a different cohort leader. So for this year, for 22-23, this is our last year to be in compliance. So by the end of this year, everyone who is currently teaching has to be finished. So we have 2 currently in the biliteracy pathway. Those are new teachers, and then 27 in the English pathway. And so those are people who are new to Red Oak ISD, didn't participate in their previous districts, or they're brand new teachers, so they're taking this on as first-year teachers, and so that's quite a feat for them. Or some joined us when it was too late last year. So the cohort was too far in for them to participate last year. So we've got several of those in this year. And so this year we've got a smaller group, but so we've got that 29 to finish, and then we'll be in compliance by the end of this year with the academy. Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to do a pre-bond construction presentation. I'm going to go down with Mr. Halsey. We're going to go through a presentation. I'm going to do the bulk of it. It's similar to what we have been doing at our rendering community meetings, but I'm going to do the bulk of it. Mr. Halsey is going to finish off with some questions that were given to us, and then here to answer questions as well. So this is our rendering review for the Red Oak ISD new middle school that's on the bond proposal. Let's just jump right into it. The existing middle school was originally designed to be a high school and elementary repurposed as a middle school. The current enrollment as of September the 13th was 1,526 students. The new middle school that is proposed will reduce enrollment and equalize between the 2 facilities. I'm always really careful to tell everyone that doesn't mean we're taking it and splitting it down the middle. It will be attendance zones, and so there may be 900 here and 700 here, but it will absolutely reduce the number of students at each at the campus. The new middle school is, again, 1,200 student capacity, and the new site is 48.485 acres. If you're unfamiliar with where the site is, if you're going down Ovilla and you pass Shutman and Shields, you get to Westmoreland Road, take a left. There is a new subdivision going up on the right-hand side of the road on Westmoreland. Directly across the street, you will see some empty land, and there is actually a sign that says Future Home of Red Oak Middle School. We did do a lot of community input. We had 9 events plus a survey. We did design input meetings at all 5 elementary schools. We did 2 community collaboration meetings. I met with the Student Advisory Council and also the Red Oak ISD Community Advisory Council. We did have several that said they couldn't make the meeting, so we also did a survey. These are the results of the survey and the input sessions. We had 633 people respond. 58% were parents, 14% employees, 11% parents and employees, 14% students, and then 4% other, which was community alumni and grandparents. We asked them to associate with a campus if they were associated, and this shows the ones that were with each campus or the ESC or support services. And this, is it currently on our website? Okay, and this presentation is already on the website, so if I'm going too fast, you can always go back and look at it there as well. This survey result shows the priority. We asked people to give us their top 3 priorities for input, and so this is the prioritization list. Building safety layout was number 1, classroom design was 2, campus entry 3, and as you can see, it goes on down, optional learning, library, lighting, exterior, and administrative offices. As far as the building safety layout, 78% said that they preferred the wide, long hallways versus the 22% that said the pods, the narrow hallways with pods. That's similar to what we have at our elementary schools, where you walk down a hallway and then you turn and there's like a pod that has like a grade level in it. Classroom design, 77% said they preferred flexible collaborative learning areas as opposed to the 23%, which is the fixed areas. Fixed areas is something that probably most of us are familiar with. That's where we had the desk that were pretty much fixed in one location. Collaborative areas are the ones where you can actually take the desks that are given and put them in groupings if needed, so you can move it according to the need of the classroom. Optional learning areas. We talked about the learning spaces that needed courtyards. People were talking about, is there a need for outside learning? And when we brought up courtyards, I couldn't really envision it because my first thought was safety whenever we talked about having outdoor learning. And so as you will see, that was taken into consideration, making sure that the courtyards would be safe when we look at the preliminary design here in a few minutes. But 70% that were surveyed and gave input felt like that the outside learning areas were important. 30% said all interior learning. Entry was another thing that was given. 69% said they liked the high ceiling entry with natural light. 31% said the single story entrance. Lighting, 85% said the use of natural light with windows was important. 15% said artificial lighting. As you'll see in a few minutes when we show you the preliminary design, the courtyard, the way it is set up, allows all classrooms, even the interior classrooms, to have an outside window. Back when I was teaching, you had to be somewhere about 10 years before you graduated into a classroom that had a window. You had to wait till someone retired to get a window, but this does afford outside and inside classrooms to all have that natural light in the window. Learning Common, which is what we also refer to as the library. 76% said that it was important to have an open concept that was flexible, where you could make collaborative areas, and 24% said fixed. Let me elaborate on that a little bit. By collaborative areas, and I'll show you some pictures here in just a few minutes that Corgan has put together for us, that means that the bookshelves will be on casters, on rollers, and they can be positioned in different ways in the actual learning commons in order to create different learning areas. Administrative office, this was split, almost 50-50. Some said they felt like it needed to be centrally located admin where they're all together, and then about the other half said that they thought it should be dispersed throughout the building. We're looking at a combination of the two, a hybrid of the two, so that we can do both, have some centrally located at the beginning, but also have them dispersed through the building. That way we can meet all of those. Exterior, 18% said brick only, 82% said mixed materials such as brick, stone, and steel. The design update, we did the project kickoff, visioning and programming, schematic design, where we're at now, and as you can see, there's a timeline for design development, construction documents, construction administration, and then move in. So the site design. If you will look at the site design of this, you can see visitors and students will be entering through a pickup and drop-off loop from Westmoreland Road. You can see two loops, one with the red, one with the blue. That would be for buses on one and cars pickup on the other. Visitors would enter the building through a secure vestibule at the main entrance. Community entrances, on the other hand, would be at the cafeteria, library, and gyms. They're designed at the south of the building, while the classroom hallways are designed at the north. That division creates another area of security for the building. The back of the site is primarily accessed for bus drop-off and after-school athletic events. And then the outdoor athletic facilities are designed to be secured with a perimeter fence and direct access from the building. 200 plus parking spaces will be provided per the City of Ovilla ordinances. Some people asked why we didn't have parking back there by the field in an effort to make sure that we're very cost effective with our tax dollars. Instead of having to put additional restrooms and a concession stand out with the field, it is designed so that if there is basketball or volleyball, something going on inside, as well as say football or track going on outside, they'll all be able to access that building so that they can use the restrooms and use the concession stand that is in the gymnasium area. So since you'll have students and visitors and parents walking across there, that's why there's no loop through there. This gives you an aerial view. Again, if you'll notice On the right-hand side, you've got your cafeteria, fine arts, library, CTE, and athletics. That's where your visitors would enter. And on the left is your classrooms. If you'll notice the 3 courtyard areas, you can kind of see how that is set up for safety. They are literally on the inside of those building areas, and you can also see now how that each classroom would have an outdoor window. If you'll notice at the top left where it says classrooms, there's a little grayed out, greenish gray area. That is the area that is for potential future growth. That was something that was very important for our input. The community said they wanted to see where additional growth could be added onto the building. So all 3 of those hallways have that, and we'll discuss that in a few minutes as far as the square footage on that. Kind of gives you an idea of the layout. 78% of those surveyed wanted the wider, longer hallways. Again, you can see where that's occurred on where it says 6th, 7th, and 8th. And they wanted a wide central hallway that separated the private classroom spaces to the north and the public community spaces to the south. Again, you'll see that separation in red. It's organized with the main entry vestibule and administration at the beginning of the wide central hallway to increase security. And it allows for visitors to enter the building while keeping the classroom secure. Very safety conscious on this. Wide hallways continue into the classroom areas, and the classrooms are organized to have the natural light from 3 secure courtyards. That was community priority 1. Community priority 2, 77% preferred the flexible collaborative learning areas. This gives you an example of that. Flexible furniture allows teachers the ability to lay out their classrooms to fit the curriculum and gives the students the opportunity to change their environment throughout the day. Those desks can be moved around, positioned into different groups. Each classroom would also have a primary teaching wall along with plenty of storage and supplies. That was something that everyone that we talked to, as far as the teachers, no matter where they were located and what core or if it was an elective, they all asked for plenty of storage. Exterior window provides natural light to every classroom. Okay, community priority number 3, 69% prefer the high ceiling and natural light of the main entryway. They wanted it inviting, secure, and red oak style. So 3 concepts were developed. Those are on the right-hand side. Those are the different concepts that were developed to meet that input. And on the next slide, you'll see the one that was chosen. It's called the front porch. It is a residential feel to complement the surrounding neighborhoods. It also provides natural light and visibility to improve security along the high ceilings for a more welcoming appearance. The roof extends out to create an inviting shaded space to gather. It fits our other schools as well. It has what we would say the red oak look. Exterior materials, red brick, stone, wood look finishes, and black metal trims and structure. 82% preferred the mixture of materials. Outdoor learning, again, they're circled. The 3 courtyards are circled, showing where they are located. On the right just shows you some different ways that it could be designed. Just providing unique opportunity to have outside learning opportunities, natural light for the interior classrooms, and restorative learning by providing students with views to nature as it helps improve their focus and reduce stress. And that does not add to the square footage of the building. That question was asked. The outdoor courtyards is not in the square footage of the building. This is an example of different types of learning zones. Zone 1 would be gathering spaces for larger groups and outdoor activities. Zone 2 would be gathering spaces for smaller groups and individuals. Zone 3 is nature-focused, accessible learning spaces for independent and guided exploration. And Zone 4 would be more open spaces for recreation, incorporating vegetation for sound and visual buffering, and for ecosystem services. Just some ideas on what those could look like. Learning Commons is one of the most used areas in any on any campus, and we wanted to kind of give you an idea of what that could look like when we talked about flexible learning. I'm going to do that on the next slide. But the Learning Commons includes collaborative spaces for large and small groups, individual and project work areas, an available maker space, which can be used in conjunction or separate, and also an area for community events. So let's look at what that could look like. This could be an everyday look, where you have the bookshelves in the upper section. You can also see there's 2 areas over there for collaborative learning. You can see at the bottom another collaborative zone, and in the blue to the right, a full class teaching zone and maker space, teacher walls, projection, storage, and office area. That could be something for an everyday organization of the Learning Commons, as opposed to presentation mode. If we had community coming, if we did staff development, the upper section that has the arrow at the top, very top, is a mounted projector area, so that's where the presentation could be made, collaborative spaces, and for the community, and then all of the book shelving down below, and still offers the learning spaces to the right as well. Everyday cafeteria versus performance cafeteria, again, using the type of furniture that can be used for both, being very conscious of the taxpayers' dollars, making sure that we can convert those same types of furniture into a presentation performance as well. Community input from October 12th and 13th. These were some of the things that were asked, and I told them we would get additional information. So here we go. What is the approximate space designated for future growth with added capacity? The space would be, and that's the, remember the grade, kind of greenish gray area I pointed out at the end of each hallway. Space for 12 additional classrooms to accommodate an additional 300 students. How big are the courtyards and how many students can work in them at once? Approximately 7,000 square foot each. Students can use it in part depending on the programming, but in general 2 to 3 classrooms, 50 to 75 students could be in a courtyard at any given time working. Another question that was asked, are our athletic facilities comparable to other middle schools? And yes, most large 1,000 student middle schools have 2 gyms, 1 to 2 outdoor fields, track and tennis courts. And remember, spaces are not just for athletic events, they're for PE, electives, outdoor education, tennis, as well as athletics. And the question was asked, will it be available for public usage? And we told everyone we would explore that. We have not had an opportunity to really go in depth on that, so we're still exploring that as well. Another question that was asked is, will the career technology education students still have to travel to the CTE building? And no, they will not. The facility will include its own CTE space. So CTA students at ROMS will continue to use the space in both the CTE building and on campus, and the new middle school would have its own space. Another question was, how will the road conditions be addressed, and is there enough parking? The bond does include funds to widen the Westmoreland Road along the school frontage to provide for turn lanes at both entrances and exits. And we are creating over 200 parking spaces and have additional areas for overflow. And after November 8th, we will discuss options with Ovilla. Where will the storm shelter be located? The storm shelter will be located in one of the gyms with the required restrooms, generator space, and capacity for the full school students and staff population, which is required by the 2015 International Building Code. And I'm turning it over to Mr. Halsey. Thank you.
Oh, no. Oh, I didn't have to turn it. I do that. Okay. Hey, good evening. So I'm here to talk about storm shelter designed for this new middle school. So in 2015, the International Building Code required that storm shelters be built in all educational facilities. It's an E-occupancy. So all educational facilities, as you can see, on item number 1, it's Article 4.23, Group E occupancies, which are schools. You can see on map number 2, that's the wind speed chart. So the wind speed chart tells us what the code says of how strong we have to design the storm shelter according to the codes. And in the wind speed that we have here, you can see the little yellow dot where Ovilla is. And you can't really read the map too clear about the wind speeds, but we're designing for 250 mile an hour winds. So the 250 mile an hour winds means that the structure, the windows, any openings, the doors have to withstand a 250 mile an hour wind. So it's a pretty strong tornado wind. These storm shelters are also designed, so the table that you see at article number 3 is designing for, there's 2 different parts of it. Tornado is the top part, hurricane is the bottom part. We're designing for tornado. It's 5 square foot per occupant. And the occupants are calculated by the code that states, they have a way of calculating it in the code, which is article number 4 up there, which is 1,335 design occupancy times 5 square foot per person, which is equivalent to a minimum of 7425 square feet in this storm shelter to not basically, but to house the entire population of the school and all staff in the storm shelter in the event of a tornado. So where is this storm shelter designed right now? So there's the overview of the middle school again, and you can see the one in the corner that's in the lower left image. That is the practice gym. So the practice gym is where we're proposing to design the storm shelter for this facility. As you can see in the image on the right, so the practice gym, number 1, that is the surface floor court. Number 2 is the bleachers for the practice gym. The other gym is to the right side, number 6, the competition gym. Inside of a storm shelter, so the storm shelters also have to be designed in the event of a tornado taking a hit to have power, to have toilet fixtures, lavatories, and power, and to be able to maintain themselves for a certain duration of time. So inside the gym itself, you'll also see there's gym storage, restrooms, and then the power generator rooms that we have that will power this storm shelter in the event of a storm. 8,000 square foot is provided for this in that whole space of the practice gym, which is a little over what the code minimum is of 7425 square feet. The storm shelter has concrete roof, concrete walls, and 250 mile an hour rated openings and doors in it to withstand all of that. So it's basically it's a big box, big concrete box, all 4 sides. This is a couple of examples of storm shelters that we've designed at other local ISDs, and just wanted to show you that the inside of a storm shelter will look just like a gym, and that's the way we design them. You can see the one on the left is an image of Brock High School, and it has some windows into the gym. The one on the right is Coppell Middle School, and it doesn't have windows into the gym. So it can be designed to look and feel and act exactly like a gym, which it is. It's a gym that has concrete walls and concrete roof deck, and is designed to be withstand that 250 mile an hour wind speed. With that and our presentation tonight, the next step in the process, as Ms. Sanford showed you, is design development. So we're going to go back now that we have done schematic and put it together, which is all of the organization of the site, the organization of where fine arts is going to be in relation to cafeteria, in relation to the athletics area, all of the grade level classrooms, how they relate to the outdoor courtyard spaces, and go back and talk to our programming team, which includes everybody that you saw in our last presentation, which is every group that's in this building, and talk to them specifically about each one of their individual spaces that we had in the program and how that applies to the plan. So we'll be looking at where doors are and millwork and cabinets and storage rooms and windows and light switches, technology, layout of the classrooms, et cetera, et cetera. Going through all of those details, which is what we call design development, to get the design developed, and then the next phase after that will be construction documents, and that's the documents that say, here's the design, here contractor, here's how to build that design. And with that, I will open it up for any questions anyone might have.
Is there any leftover land to the rear of the athletic stadium?
There's a area that is to the east of that is about 19 acres that could be used for a potential future facility when the east side is developed. You may not be able to wait that long, and you might want to take a road through where the middle school is now to access that, but that'll be a lot of traffic on Westmoreland. But you have that available property for a future education facility or future district, whatever you might need.
Where will DAEP be? Where it is currently?
The plan is to use the sixth grade center, we've called it several things, the West Campus, the sixth grade center, to turn that into the DAEP, should the bond pass and we build the new middle school. That's the long-term plan.
So the bond's going to take care of widening the road, because Westmoreland's not wide enough for our school buses.
As far as the turning lanes and the school frontage, yes.
The road itself is in the city of Ovilla.
Yes.
And the city is responsible for maintaining Ovilla Road.
Yes.
So it's going to be a heavy traffic on a little road that wasn't designed for that, but that's the city of Avila. If the city can't keep up with the maintenance of this high traffic, will Red Oak ISD assist in the maintaining?
As far as the conversation with Ovilla and also with the builders that are on that area as well, we don't pursue that until we see if the bond passes, but we will go into conversations with them because they also have a vested interest as well, the builders on that road.
Yes.
So we have not pursued that until we see if the bond passes, but once it does, then we'll nail those things down as well.
Okay. So there is a possibility that because of the congestion that's going to happen there with the subdivision and with the school, what if Ovilla does not, as a city council, approve and give us a building permit? What happens?
A building, Kevin, would you like to
Yeah.
talk about the?
We had a preliminary meeting with them, and told us that there have been huge obstacles for us to overcome.
Okay. And the school's going to open in 3 years?
August 2025.
So did we do the preliminary plan in order to have it open sooner, or?
That is the sooner. That instead of 2026, it's August 2025.
So it's 3 years. So, and the architectural firm has been paid the $1.3 million, or not?
No. That's for the entire, that's designated for the entire design, and as far as the preliminary design phase. So we're using those funds, but no, not anywhere even close.
So let's say that it doesn't get approved for some strange reason. You own the plans. I mean, does Red Oak own the design plans?
Yes, you do. You own the plans that you've paid for.
And so do you have a copyright on any of those?
They're your plans. You paid for them.
Okay, just asking. It's pretty with the outside courtyards. I've suggested that for several years, like it.
So what I see is early voting is next week.
Yes, October 24th through November the 4th at the Cowboy Church of Ellis County, and also Red Oak Municipal Center, and then Election Day is Tuesday, November the 8th.
So what I'd like to say is everybody go vote early. And also that everybody knows that everyone on this board sitting here tonight voted yes to put this on for us to do. So I'm hoping that everyone is going out and not negatively, but positive on the event that's coming up next week for early voting. And that everybody that's not here does see the drawings, that it does not have a dome on the top, so that needs to be squished, and there's no dome on the top of this building, so
No Taj
it's not
Mahal.
there. It's not the Taj Mahal, so I just have to say that. Those of you that are listening know that it's not a dome on there, so whatever you're being told, that's not what it is, but let's get it going.
Anything else?
So how did we decide on this 180,000 square feet? What was the calculation on that?
The 180,000 square feet is based upon a statistical average of 130 square foot per student of the functional capacity. 1,200 students times 1.15% is 1,385 times the 130, which gave you 179,400 square feet. We rounded it to 180,000 square feet. That's what we use when we're in conceptual planning, so that we are able to have the size of something, of what it would be to your peers and other middle school projects that we have designed. And now that we have gone through it with your entire administration and design group, they have verified that that number is accurate for their needs. So that's how we get to those numbers.
And
When
we-
we're in a very early conceptual phase, that statistical average works.
And we have a formula for furnishing it. And-
Yes, that's included in the total development costs that are in the bond program, because the bond program number includes not only construction, it includes engineering fees, it includes testing, it includes technology, all the furniture to go in the building, everything that would be a part of building a brand-new building and getting it set up. Once you go beyond that, operations of the building then becomes part of your regular M&O tax rate. But a part of the bond is everything that you need to get, well, except for teachers, everything that you need to get the building set up.
Throw it in, Holsey,
equipped.
throw it in.
That's right. Equipped, set up, everything put into the school, books, libraries, debt, all of that, so that you're ready to go and for students. So that total number that's in the bond includes all of those numbers, not just construction.
And approximately what does that stadium and that track and that field, approximately what does that cost?
It depends on whether we put turf on it, or if it's just grass field. If it's an 8-lane track, it's going to be in the range of $1 million, $1.2 million, something like that.
Okay. And the tennis courts,
The tennis courts are about $250,000 a court.
4 of them?
The 4 of them, yes.
Okay. Okay.
For the shelter, it's for the build out of the design, the number of students it's designed for. If you expand it, do we have to change the shelter?
That's why it's a little bit bigger than what you have as
Is
the
enough
code
to
minimum.
cover the
Yes.
expansion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
I would also just encourage everyone to go to the www.roisdbond.com. We do have information there. We continue to upload. There is a place for you to go scroll to the bottom and ask questions, and we answer those and put the answers on there as well, because if you have the question, probably many other do. I encourage people to please reach out to us to get the factual information. If you're confused over anything, financing, if you're confused over the bonds, if you're confused over the amounts, anything at all, just reach out to the district so we can give you that factual information.
And if you look at the elections website, the bond is $94 million, and the interest is $75, and the total school costs $169,752,700, and that is off of the Ellis County elections bond statement. You can see it there.
And the bond itself is the $94 million. And don't forget, I mean, we've tried to stress this over and over again. If we don't need the $94 million, that the bonds are never sold. Those bonds are not sold. We do anticipate and hope to come in under that. And so we only sell what is going to be needed to actually fulfill everything on that bond as well. And also don't forget, if you look historically at Red Oak ISD, Dr. Johnston can tell you the refinancing of the bonds and the early payoffs. You can say you can stretch them out for 40 years, but if you look at historically at Red Oak ISD, we do make an effort to pay those off early, so that number would be in the worst case scenario in the story.
Well, it's just a fact. It's what the elections office posts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
mic died.
Mr. Frills.
Mine's real quick this evening. Whoa, what? I'm holding in my hand some building permits. We got some approvals. Only thing we're waiting on to get a certificate of occupancy for the portables, which hopefully will happen later this week, is a final fire permit. We passed sewer, we passed electrical, we passed initial fire. Hopefully that week we'll have certificate of occupancies for the portables. Furniture is expected to be delivered next Tuesday for all the elementaries. The furniture for the DAP rooms is here. We just got to let the wax dry. We've learned that when you wax a pier and beam portable, it doesn't dry as fast as it dries when you wax on concrete. So they should be all good to go hopefully by next week. Phones and all the rest of the stuff are supposed to be in this week. So hopefully by next week they're done.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you. Mr. Frills.
Okay, I just have a quick update after that, and then I'll turn it over to you. Just to give you some other information that's going on in the district, Red Oak ISD hosted the North Texas Food Bank School Pantry Program on October the 13th. We served over 560 families, and we want to thank the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, National Honor Society students, and the ESC employees who volunteered to help. It was a great turnout. Several ROISD groups participated in the Ovilla Heritage Days Parade on September the 24th, including our NJROTC students, our drill teams, and our cheerleaders. The Red Oak Mighty Hawk Band has advanced to the UIL area marching contest and will compete on Saturday, August 22nd at Mesquite Memorial Stadium at 3:15. Finals will begin at 7:30, so more information will be coming out on that as well. Also very proud of our ROHS Color Guard. They earned first place at the DeSoto Marching Classic. They've now received a Color Guard award at all 3 marching band competitions this year. We also celebrated Custodial Workers Day by serving our custodians dinner to thank them for all that they do for our students and staff. They absolutely work tirelessly day in and day out, and we certainly appreciate them. Big congratulations to John and Karen Anderson for being named the 2022 Red Oak ISD Distinguished Alumni. We appreciate all that they do for Red Oak ISD. I would also like to recognize that on November the 12th, 2022 at 1 p.m., the Ellis County African American Hall of Fame Museum and Library will be holding its 3rd annual Hall of Fame luncheon. The ceremony is to honor and acknowledge African American men and women who were the first to be in certain positions in Ellis County. And Miss Mickey Porter will be honored and inducted into the Ellis County African American Museum and Library Hall of Fame as the first African American female on Red Oak ISD School Board. And that's all I have.
Okay. She will be signing everything HOF, she said.
Yeah, you did.
Next, we're going to move into our open forum. We have quite a few participants to speak tonight. Any person wishing to address the board about a topic related to district business during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with the district policy BED local. Each participant will be limited to 2 minutes to make comments to the board. You'll see the time behind me. As you watch the time click down, and it does go fast, so keep. I know 2 minutes may seem like a long time, but it's really not. If you'll get to the end, or see the time coming down, if you'll get to the end and start closing your comments down, I will stop you at some point if you don't stop. The board has adopted a complaint policy designed to secure at the lowest possible administrative level a prompt, equitable resolution of the complaints concerns. Each of these processes provides that if a resolution cannot be achieved administratively, the person may appeal the administrative decision to the board as a properly posted agenda item. For further information on these policies, please contact Kevin Frills, Assistant Superintendent of District Operations for Student Issues, and Michelle Lara, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for Employee Issues at 972-617-2941. Under the Texas Open Meeting Act, the board may exercise its authority to discuss certain subject matters in closed session, including matters involving individual district staff members and individual students. If your comment concerns one of these subjects, please address your concerns to the complaint policies described above. Finally, please be aware that the rules of decorum will be enforced during the public comment period. Personal attacks, name-calling, and rude or slanderous remarks will not be tolerated. Each participant is legally responsible for the content and consequences of his or her own statements. When I call your name, if you'll step to the microphone and just, you don't have to state your address, just state your name. And then when you're ready, let me know and he'll start the clock. And these are in no particular order. These are the way they were handed to me. Trish Garcia King. And Parker.
Good evening. My name is Trish Garcia King. I am here tonight to speak to you as an advocate for the Little Hawks Learning Center. I have been an employee of Red Oak ISD for 32 years as a high school math teacher and coach. I was here when Little Hawks was first opened, and I have had several colleagues that have used the center, and they have always had nothing but praise for the little school. I have been in several interviews over the years for positions in my department, and when we mention that we have a school for children under the age of 5, this always gets a lot of their attention and has been the determining factor on them choosing to join the Red Oak ISD team. I never dreamt that I would find out firsthand how great the center is, but I did. My son Parker was born in April 2021. I asked several current teachers that had their children there about it, and they had nothing but positive things to say. My son started at Little Hawks when he was 4 months old. The teachers treat these children as if they were their own. They love them, care for them, and they teach them. The office staff makes a point of knowing every child by name, and there is always someone that greets us every morning when he gets dropped off and every afternoon when he gets picked up. They are always smiling, happy, and it is obvious they love their job. They go out of their way to make sure we, the parents, feel so secure knowing they will take good care of our children. They have a great facility where they are located now, and each classroom is set up for the kids to play, do group work on the rug, do arts and crafts, and everything else. They have areas outside for the different age groups. They are constantly engaging the kids. My son has learned and grown socially as well as emotionally. Enrolling him in the Little Hawks Learning Center was one of the best decisions we have made as parents. Little Hawks is a secure, safe learning center and should stay where they are and should remain open. This is one of the reasons so many parents remain at Red Oak ISD, because the child care is top-notch. And as stated by our state, Little Hawks Learning Center is an accredited 4-star learning center, which is the highest rating that can be achieved. Thank you for listening, and again, I'm asking you to please continue offering the Little Hawks Learning Center to your employees and leave it exactly where it is. Tell them bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Ms. Erika Herrickle.
Hello, my name is Erika Herrickle, and I am a teacher and coach, and not just a teacher and coach, but a proud teacher and coach of Red Oak ISD. I've only been here for about 6 years, and Little Hawks is a very special place with loving Red Oak teachers. And what makes them special is that they are Red Oak ISD. Little Hawks is one of the benefits that helps me as an employee of the district. I love how they follow the district calendar, and it is a comfort to know that I have someone to watch him, JT, when I am at work outside of the normal school day. This service is one of a kind, and I know many districts are attempting to add a Little Hawks style program to their districts. Just like Ms. Garcia said, I know there's those districts that don't even have this and have no idea that they have that. Let alone did I know I was going to use Little Hawks now that I use it now. I want to give my son a strong educational foundation, And I believe Little Hawks is the answer to that strong Red Oak educational foundation. I find it fitting that Red Oak takes an educational interest in my son as I take care of the students of Red Oak myself as a teacher of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenna Bowling? Jenna Bowling? Sorry.
Hello, my name is Jenna Bowling, and I have been the choir director at Red Oak Middle School for 9 years. When I first heard about Little Hawks, I was sitting in the gym at a pep rally in a tutu because Katrina Keener made me put it on. And she was sitting there also in a tutu telling me about how wonderful Little Hawks was because her child, Cannon, had just started there. I listened to her talk about it, and I listened to other teachers chime in as she spoke. And I had only been working in Red Oak for a few months. And that was the moment that I decided, you know, Red Oak Middle School has not had a choir director stay in the last 4 years. And I decided that I needed to be the first one in 4 years to get my contract renewed. And I'm still here 9 years later. And a lot of it is because of Little Hawks. And I know that not every teacher uses that benefit currently, but not every teacher uses our health insurance benefits either. And Little Hawks is a benefit that not only kept you guys from having to find a choir director for 9 years, it's a benefit that recruits other teachers here, because I have other teachers ask me about joining this district, and part of it is because of Little Hawks. It is invaluable to our district and to our teachers, and it is a strong foundation for our students and our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremiah Gaines?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremiah Gaines. I'm a proud Red Oak alum and also serve as a college and career coordinator here at the high school. Prior to me coming to Red Oak High School as an employee, I actually worked remotely and actually stayed at home with my daughter for 9 months. And throughout that time, we built a relationship. We had a routine. We read books together. And so while as I was moving towards potentially working at Red Oak ISD, I was a little hesitant because I didn't want to give up that time with her. But once I heard about Little Hawks, I went to the facility. The staff was amazing. The teachers were always great and welcoming to us. And over time, I realized that I got one of the greatest gifts possible as a parent, and that's a gift of a peace of mind given them to the Little Hawk staff. She grew, her communication continued to grow over those few months. Not only did she learn verbal cues, but also nonverbal cues, and also she learned sign language as well. And so as she continued to grow, I became more confident and more assured that our teachers and staff there are amazing. And it feels great to be able to go to work every single day, knowing that the ISD cares about my child the same way that you all want, and that we urgently try to give back to the students of Red Oak ISD. And there was a couple questions I pondered as I was thinking about what to say tonight. One of those was, if I was a teacher, would I feel supported? If we're all a team and there's a lot of conversation going on in the community, would I feel supported by the conversations happening? Or would I feel like I'm an invaluable, expendable piece of the puzzle that we say we're trying to be a team for? Thank you all.
Thank you. Terry Todd?
Hello, I'm Terry Todd, and I'm a resident of Ovilla. Some of the things I was going to touch on were already mentioned already this evening, but from what I understand, Westmoreland Road is going to have to be widened, and I imagine built up to take all the traffic and all the buses coming and going from the school, the new school. And who's going to pay for that? And on your leaflet here, it says that no, this bond is going to be done and the school built and all that without a tax rate increase. I don't see how that is possible. So, you know, there's some concerns. You know, a lot of us in Ovilla are on a fixed income. If we can't pay our property taxes, then we lose our homes. And, you know, that just doesn't seem right. There seems to me there should be a lot more communication going on between you and the city of Ovilla already to see how they're going to bear this burden, because it's going to fall on us, the taxpayers. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm older. I don't have kids in school. I don't have any kids in Red Oak. It's a big burden that we're taking on top of the other bonds that we're still paying for. And there's a lot in that, like $285 million worth, including this one. So I know that what's been said about the Little Hawks is really great and everything. It seems a little ridiculous that the rest of us have to pay for that. You know, nobody offered me anything like that when I was raising 3 kids and 6 grandkids. So it's a nice perk, but I don't know that the taxpayers should have to pay for it. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Kim Sturman?
Good evening. My name is Kim Sturman, and I really want to thank you all, especially Brenda and Beth and Kevin, for putting the presentations together. I've been participating in this process since June, and I think y'all have done a splendid job. I think the school and everything is wonderful. I know we need a school, but my concern is having this bond in November, because we don't know what's facing us on a political scale. On a political scale, right now, we are going into a major recession, and there is even talk about depression. With $285 million that is going to fall on the taxpayers of this community, I don't know if that's going to be bearable. I've asked the question, what happens if we go into depression? Who pays the bill? Are we going to be kicked out of our homes because we can't pay our taxes because, you know, property values go down, the bubble's going to break? All these things. I don't want to be a naysayer here, but the fact of the matter is we are in the worst recession that we've been in 40 years. And unless something turns around in this election, it's going to get worse. The predictions are there. People are going to start losing their jobs. It's not going to be pretty sight. So as much as I love this building, as much as I want to have it for the students, as much as I am an American and I'm all pro a good education and a nice facility for our students, I just wish we could have waited until May and done all the planning and preparation that we talked about back in July in a private meeting, because then we could see where we really were and do we need to reevaluate the $94 million. These are things that really need to be considered very carefully, because $285 million at a time like this is not a good thing, and I can't be for it at this point. Sorry.
Thank you. Rita Walker?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm ready. My name is Rhea Walker. I'm a teacher at Red Oak Middle School. I have just returned to the classroom after taking a 5-year break to raise my children, 2 of which are at Little Hawks. I was not sure during that 5 years if I would be returning to teaching. This last summer, I decided that God was calling me to be a part of filling the teacher shortage. A lot of peace came with that decision, with joining Red Oak, because of Little Hawks and because I had heard so many good things from not just other teachers, but administration as well. So I was excited to join the Red Oak team, and I'm excited to share the Red Oak school and invite other people I know to apply and to return to the classroom because of Little Hawks. Its location is perfect. If you've ever tried to pick up your child, because I also have 2 children at Shields, if you've ever tried to pick up a child at 30 minutes before before the end of the school day, you know it's not possible because people just line up. And if Little Hawks was at a different location near another school, there's just no way you would be able to pick up your child. I can't imagine being an elementary teacher wanting to come in right when middle school was ending, trying to pick up your child at the same time. I just think that it's amazing. I love the teachers. I'm proud to be a part of the team, and I'm proud that my children go to Little Hawks. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Vandenberg?
Good evening. My name is Rachel Vanderberg, and I'm a teacher at Shields Elementary. My husband and I have 3 children, and our youngest has attended Little Hawks since she was 2 months old. Before she was born, I had so many people tell me how much we were going to love it there. From day one, the staff has always been so kind and understanding, and I knew that our little girl was going to be in great hands, and she has been. Little Hawks has been nothing but a blessing to us. My child is well cared for. She's loved so well by her teachers and the rest of the staff there. Employees who have children there have peace of mind that their children are loved and well cared for. This is perhaps the most valuable thing that Little Hawks has to offer. Our children are priceless, and there can be no monetary value placed on their safety and well-being. Our children are educated in a developmentally appropriate manner, and Little Hawks graduates have been well prepared for kindergarten. This benefits not only our students, but our teachers as well. The roughly 150 children who are currently attending and their families benefit now, but how many have benefited in the past, and how many will benefit in the future? So much more than 150. You look at the monetary value that selling that property could add to the district and to the city of Glen Heights, but please consider what it's already doing for us. Although Glen Heights would benefit by gaining that property, our students and teachers would not. Your proposal to move Little Hawks to the hopeful new middle school is not an acceptable solution either. Preschool children do not belong on a middle school campus, and I would never be comfortable with my young children being on a middle school campus for their school day. Is the monetary value of a piece of property worth more than the mental and emotional well-being of your teachers and your staff? God himself was willing to spare Sodom and Gomorrah for the sake of one single person. Are you not willing to consider the idea that Little Hawks is exactly where it needs to be for the sake of 150 children and their families? Little Hawks will continue to benefit the entirety of Red Oak ISD by being able to offer exceptional child care for current and future staff. It's a huge incentive for high-quality staff to choose this district, and it's one of the biggest reasons I choose to stay with Red Oak ISD. Little Hawks is perfectly situated, perfectly staffed, and I'm so thankful that my daughter is able to attend. By leaving Little Hawks exactly where it's at, you will continue to make a difference in the lives of not only the children who attend there, but the rest of their district as well. Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry. Mary Lee Stone?
Good evening. Thank you so much for a moment of your time, and thank you so much for your service to our district. My name is Mary Lee Stone, and I currently serve as the principal at Red Oak Elementary. I have been, this is 22 years, I'm starting to lose count, 22 years in Red Oak, and I remember being the first time mom looking for childcare in Red Oak. I looked, I visited, I didn't find what I was looking for my baby. God had a plan, and Little Hawks opened that fall, and Dylan was one of the first babies to start from the baby room and go all the way through to graduation. Miss Robin will always have a special place in my heart because she took my daughter as a newborn, and that is who cared for her. Little Hawks became family. Little Hawks took care of my kids so that I could serve the students and the teachers of this district. My current role is to recruit and retain high-quality teachers for our students. And Little Hawks is a huge part of that. Time and time and time again, in interviews, people will ask about childcare, and I can confidently say, we've got the best. Our students, Little Hawks provides such a huge service to our district in that they take care of our teachers' babies so that our teachers can in turn take care of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Stanfield? Oh. If you didn't, this is your last time to fill it up. You got 2 minutes. Go ahead and start the clock.
So Mark Stanfield. So 2 things I'd like to speak about. First of all, I bet if you compared those graduates from Little Hawks, they were probably the top in their graduating class as 12th years. It's a proven fact that early childhood education produce excellent students in the future. Okay, so that's a big plus. Second, I want to speak about the upcoming bond election. We all know this middle school is needed, and it has been needed for years. So I want to encourage the community members, and especially parents, to get out and vote. The only way this school is to pass if enough voters vote for the bond. Don't let a minority of people who are committed to misunderstanding and misinterpreting be the ones who determine the direction of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Bell?
He's way taller than me. All right. Good evening. How are we doing?
Good.
Good, good. Thanks for having me. Usually I come in here pretty fired up. I have an agenda. Tonight I'm having a hard time picking because I have 3. I am a parent of Little Hawks as well. My friends did a great job here discussing why we need to keep it, why it needs to stay afloat, and we did think of, we need to remind a couple things that we do pay for it. I have one student there now, and about over $5,000 comes out of our checks. And that's only for 9 months. That's not for 12 months. So you got to think about that when you're comparing to other facilities. My family personally took about a $15,000 pay cut to come to this district from another district, both of us as employees, and not pay cut, potential earning to come here because we wanted to be a part of Red Oak. And Little Hawks was the main reason for that. We've had a long journey with child care, and we were excited and happy to have Little Hawks. So my middle issue is it can wait till after the bond. We're going to have plenty of time for that. We'll move on to the bond. I just want to say thank you to you guys for standing up. I haven't been able to be here at the last couple of meetings, but standing up for us, for my kids, and pushing things through like it needed to be done correctly. You know, the middle school needs to be done. It needs to be done quickly. There's a council, North Texas Council of Governments, a while back projected Red Oak to have 63,000 people by 2030, so we've got to get it done. The time is now. We're not quite going to hit that number as they projected, but as we move forward, it's about the type of people we want here in Red Oak and whether or not we're going to get those people. Because if we continue to have crowded schools, the people are going to move out who are not happy here. And people will move in, but it just depends on what they're looking for. So schools are key to our community, and I need these parents to get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move into our action items. In your agenda tonight, you have the consent agenda. Is there anything that you would like removed to be discussed separately? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Is that Ms. Porter?
Yes.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and a second by Ms. Porter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passing 7-0. And again, Mr. Knight, it's nice to have you here for that 7-0 vote. Consideration and approval of financial audit. Dr. Bill Johnston.
Thank you, Board. We have Dan Ton, our financial auditor, here tonight to share the audit findings with you.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be here and visit with you tonight about the audit. We completed the audit in September and have been working on the report and getting it ready for you. The audit went very well. We didn't have any problems during the audit in terms of getting access to information, or the records were in good shape. So as I said, the audit went very well. Just to start out, I want to look at our independent auditor's report, which is on pages 3 and 4 of the booklet you just received. This report is what's referred to as an unmodified report, which is the highest level of report that you can receive as a governmental entity. The term unmodified refers to the fact that no modifications were necessary to the standard independent auditor's report, so there were no findings or compliance issues. It's a very good report. The next section of the report is what's called management's discussion and analysis. This is about a 10-page section. It's primarily narrative in nature. It just talks about the highlights of the year and some of the things that affected the financial condition of the district during the year, and goes into information on your fund balances and your capital assets and your long-term debt. There's a couple of comparative statements on page 8 and 9 that you can see. Page 8 is the assets, liabilities, and net position. You'll notice at the bottom there on page 8, in 2022, your net position actually went from a negative 8.8 million to a positive 800,000. So that's a very good financial indicator. You may ask, well, why was our net position negative last year? You'll notice, well, I'll get into that when we look at the actual financial statement, but it has to do with your pension and OPEB liabilities that were required to record as part of your government-wide liabilities. Page 9 is your revenues and expenses for the year on a government-wide basis. You can see that your revenues were up significantly. A lot of that was federal money. You can see your grants went from about 9 million to about 14 million. As you very well know, with the pandemic, the ESSER funding has provided a lot of funding for school districts as well as everybody. So that contributed to that increase in revenue. Your state aid was actually down slightly, but that was because of your local tax collections were more. As you know, the more you collect locally, that affects your state aid. But overall, your revenues were up. Your expenses were also up, but not quite as much. So you did have an increase in net position of 9.6 million. A lot of that is due to repayment of debt. That helps your net position. The government-wide statements that I'm referring to are on pages 14 and 15. You can see that the page 14 is the assets and liabilities. Those pension and OPEB liabilities I mentioned are on lines 2540 and 2545. You can see that you have about an $8 million pension liability and about 16.7 million of OPEB liability. And you might want to ask me, well, what is an OPEB?
I do.
That stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits. And in Texas, the teacher retiree health insurance plan is a other post-employment benefit because it's a benefit that TRS retirees earn throughout their career, and then once they've retired, they're able to participate in the health insurance program for retirees. And that's funded by the state and by school districts throughout their career with contributions based on the employee's salary. The fund financials are on page 16, and well, they start on page 16. This is your assets and liabilities and fund balance for your governmental funds. As you know, the district operates using multiple funds, the general fund, the debt service fund, the capital projects fund are your three major funds, and then you have other funds that are smaller in nature that are primarily grant funds. You can see you ended the year in the general fund with 20.5 million of unassigned fund balance. Virtually all of your fund balance is unassigned. The unassigned fund balance represents 33.8% of your general fund expenditures. That's a healthy amount of fund balance. It's about 4 months, which is generally in the range of what's recommended for a governmental entity to maintain. So you're doing well there. Your debt service fund has 6.9 million, and your capital projects is at 3.7 million. Page 20 and 21 shows the revenues and expenses of the individual funds. You can see the third number from the bottom is the change in fund balance. Your general fund increased 442,000. The debt service fund went down slightly, but basically broke even, $140,000 negative. And then the capital projects fund went up by about 1 million due to the $3 million transfer from the general fund to the capital projects fund in order to fund projects within the district. The special revenue funds had a fairly significant increase this past year, and again, I think it's mostly related to the federal pandemic funding. The child nutrition fund increased by 1.3 million, and that's pretty unusual for your child nutrition. But as you recall, last school year was the program where all children ate free, and that just about every district that I've been to, that has resulted in a significant increase in the child nutrition fund balance, because not only did they eat free, but under the program that the USDA did that, they increased the price per meal subsidy, so you got more subsidy for more kids eating, and it just created a pretty good situation for the Child Nutrition Fund. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, what that means is that there's money there that will need to be used to upgrade a lot of the kitchen equipment, things of that nature, because the USDA has stipulations on how much fund balance you can accumulate in the Child Nutrition Fund, and you're over that amount. And so the district has made plans on how they can use that money, and you have to submit that plan to show that you're going to bring your fund balance down within the allowed amount, which is basically 3 months of operating expenses.
Bless you.
The last thing I want to look at is your grant programs, and if you'll turn to page 81, beginning on page 81, there are 2 additional auditors' reports in the back of the report. The first report covers all of your grant funds, both state and federal grants. And then the second report is a report on each major federal program. Under the Uniform Guidance Federal Regulations, auditors are required to identify each year certain major programs. And it's basically, the way the rules read is it's based on the size of the programs, and then all of your larger programs have to be audited as major programs at least once every 3 years. And we identify those on page 85. Obviously, the ESSER programs, you receive money under 3 different ESSER programs. What's commonly referred to as ESSER 2, ESSER 3, and then supplemental ESSER. As each bill was passed during COVID, the CARES Act, and then the Appropriations Act, and then the American Rescue Plan, there were 3 major bills that provided funding, and that's where we got ESSER 1, 2, and 3 out of those 3 bills. You can see that was obviously, you got about 1.8 million just in ESSER funds. That's allowed the district to do a lot of good things. What keeps Bill up at night is those go away in 2 years. And then the other major program was the Child Care Stabilization Fund. You got almost 1.3 million that subsidized your child care and after-school program at all the different campuses. So that's all I have. Like I said, I think the district continues to be in very good financial condition. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the audit?
No, but I'll take this time to say, Dr. Johnson, thank you for making sure we keep our stuff in line and our spending correct and squeezing every nickel out of a beat that you can. We appreciate you greatly. Y'all too, then.
I appreciate all the cooperation that we get from the finance department. We kind of buzz in and disrupt their world for 2 or 3 days, and but they do a good job of getting us everything we need, and Bill and his staff are very organized. We appreciate your help. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you very much for letting me come and visit with you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson, do you have anything to add to that?
No, sir, we appreciate Dan and his team and the business office for getting everything ready, and we just ask the board to approve the financial audit.
Okay. So we have a consideration and approval of financial audit. Do we have a motion?
I move that we formally approve the annual financial report for the fiscal year which ended June 30th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and a second by Mr. Sebring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 7-0. We have consideration and approval of annual investment report. Dr. Johnston.
Yes. What we do every year, and you do have in the packet, the annual investment report. And I'm just going to have a few slides to show that, you know, the investment of public funds are governed by the Texas Government Code 2256, must comply with the Public Funds Investment Act, and we must make sure that our investment of funds is safe and that we don't lose the funds. And then you're required every year to have the board review and approve where we do invest our funds every year. And again, our investment is based on policy. And our investment officers, which is myself and Sandra King, every 2 years we have to go get training. She does it 1 year, I do it the next year. And even the businesses that we engage with, they have to understand our board policies, which is included in this document as well. And again, as I said, every year the board must approve the qualified brokers, and by state statute, we're obligated to do a quarterly investment report to the board. We actually do that on a monthly basis, which is part of the board agenda as well. And again, the financial auditor does the review as well. Here are the allowable types of investments that government entities can invest in. The one in maroon is public funds investment pools, and that's what the district has traditionally invested in. And we usually use 3 investment pools: Lone Star Investment Pool, Tex Pool, and Techstar. And a lot of the school districts in the state use these 3 pools as well. And at the end of June 2022, we had roughly $29.4 million invested and broken down primarily in the Lone Star Investment Pool. We still had some remaining because we pull out during the year also to pay expenses. So we had, again, Lone Star Investment Pool had the majority of it, 99.9%. We had some in Tex Pool and Techstar. If you break it down by fund, the general fund, $20.6 million, which ironically is close to what the fund balance at the end of June was as well. Student nutrition, 1.8, debt service, 6.9 million, and construction had 14,000. And the pie chart at the bottom kind of shows that, again, the majority of it, 70%, was in the general fund. This chart kind of shows what the investment trend is. A normal benchmark for investing is the 91-day Treasury bill. And even though the pools might be a little less than that, they still are comparable to the T-bill interest rates. Again, there's 2 policies, a legal policy and a local policy for investing. The last legal policy was approved by the board in November 2019. The local policy was updated last spring when we had the policies reviewed. And the main reason for that, because our local policy did have the superintendent as the investment officer, and that was changed to the chief financial officer to be the investment officer. And again, what will happen, the recommendation tonight that the board to approve this report is we remain in the investment pools that we have traditionally invested in, and we'll continue to monitor the market to see if there's any better investments out there, but the risk list, the less risky would be the investment pools. And again, on page 39 of this document is a list of the qualified brokers that we would use. And again, we need to make sure, which we are always in compliance with our training, but we need to annually do that. And that's really it. Are there any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Johnson? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I move that we formally adopt the list of qualified brokers as presented on page 39 of the annual investment report.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, and a second by Ms. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 7-0. Consideration and approval of facility design standards and educational specifications for new construction. Mr. Friels.
This is not half as exciting as Mr. Tones or Dr. Johnston's. In your packets this evening, you see that in the spring of 2021, the Texas Education Agency adopted new facility standards. These standards are found in section 61.1040 of the Texas Administrative Code. These new standards allow districts flexibility in design and construction with an understanding of the needs of the students, but allow districts to modify design requirements because of rising construction costs. There are two basic options for districts to choose. For instructional facility space compliance for areas within the building, the districts are allowed to choose either quantitative or qualitative, with the default being quantitative. What that means is basically it's the classroom space. There are requirements throughout the building, as Mr. Hulsey's talked about. These are the actual classroom spaces that we're talking about this evening. And we're going to allude back to some of the things that Ms. Sanford pointed out in the presentation about the classrooms with movable furniture and that sort of thing. We're selecting the default, the quantitative, and there are 4 levels, as you see. But we're going to talk about flexibility levels 1 and 2 together, and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 are part of the quantitative, and they allow in a middle school for 32 feet per square feet per student. Levels 3 and 4 would be 36 square feet per student at a middle school. So you could see there would be an increased cost. We have historically not done a qualitative building. That's more of a innovative, no walls type thing and all that sort of thing. Ours are more traditional classrooms, but they're not classrooms with fixed objects inside them like a lecture hall. It wouldn't be like that. So if you look at flexibility level 2 is the one that we're choosing to adopt. Single fixed teacher presentation space, compact organization of spaces make access to outdoor space limited and challenging, but outdoor spaces may be visible from classrooms. Furniture includes detached student desk chairs with an expectation of very infrequent rearrangement, moderate multi-purpose functionality for walls with no capability of reconfiguration, teacher-centric digital instruction with moderate access to mobile devices. You are not limited, as I said. This is the minimum. You're not limited on what you can do above and beyond that. We're just choosing this because of the square foot compliance to keep the building to the minimum square footage as financially feasible, is what our selection is here this evening. So the administration will recommend the board approve the recommendation for the quantitative methods of space compliance level 2 for the design of the new additional middle school in Red Oak ISD as outlined in the attached education specifications document. That's 12 pages, and if you read it, it's nothing more than everything we've been talking about. It's all compiled in 12 short pages of what a middle school is. Questions?
All right, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the recommendation of the quantitative methods of space compliance, level 2, for the design of a new additional middle school in Red Oak ISD as outlined in the attached educational specifications document.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Mr. Sebring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Frills. Next, we have the consideration and approval of memorandum of understanding with the Red Oak ISD Education Foundation. Ms. Stanford.
Yes. We had some citizens that approach us about doing a fundraiser for the updates to the elementary playgrounds, and we approached the Education Foundation, and they graciously have offered to enter into a memorandum of understanding if the board approves. It'll be between the Red Oak ISD School District and the Red Oak Education Foundation. It would include the district undertaking a campaign to raise funds to update 5 elementary playgrounds. The foundation will be receiving contributions from donors to be expended on the update and renovation of those elementary campus playgrounds. So we are recommending from administration that the board approve this memorandum of understanding with the Red Oak ISD Education Foundation.
So just so we understand, is this a new MOU? Is this just an addendum?
No, this is a new MOU.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Do you have any questions for your Education Foundation back there of what their role is?
No, sir.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the MOU between the Red Oak ISD Education Foundation and the Red Oak Independent School District as presented for the 2022-23 school year.
Second. You get it, Johnny.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and a second by Mr. Knight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Consideration approval of adoption of the National Incident Management System, the NIMS. Mr. Chief Pacifica.
Mr.
Good evening. What is before you, Board, is a request to formally adopt the National Incident Management System, NIMS. Backed by executive order several years ago, there was a requirement for a NIMS system based with incident command structure in place to be developed where basically all forms of government, non-governmental entities as well, can act together or respond to some sort of major event using the same terminology, the same language, regardless of the size of the event, some natural disaster. It's a framework in place to do that. NIMS is to be formally adopted. For several years now, the district has submitted emergency operations plans, now is required to go to the Texas School Safety Center. This year, the latest plan, the basic plan is what was required to be submitted plus a threat annex. The new template from the School Safety Center included a date specific for the formal adoption of NIMS. So we need that date specific history. We've used NIMS across the district for many years, but finding that date specific hasn't been successful. I talked to the state. They just said, get it formally adopted, we're fine. So that's what's before you.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Chief?
Do we understand this correctly, that there are no fiscal implications for the district to adopt this?
Correct. No, and it actually, if there is some event where you're going to use or request state federal funds through FEMA, through disaster, you have to have formally adopted this, so that potentially you could lose funds if there was some sort of event that you needed those funds. So, and again, we've used this structure. You can tell the districts use the structure. There's training folks have taken way back for several years, just looking for that formal adoption date. with new staff turnover, this was the best way, once I talked to the state, just to do this.
I move that the board formally adopt the National Incident Management System as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Sebring, a second by Ms. Knight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Chief, you got enough radios hanging off your collar? Consideration and approval of School Health Advisory Council, SHAC, for the 2022-2023 school year. Ms. Sue Brown.
Yes. Okay, I am here as the liaison to the SHAC committee. And SHAC is the acronym for School Health Advisory Council. And Texas law established that every district needs to have a SHAC committee. It is created as an advisory group, and it is made up mainly of parents. The majority need to be parents and community members. We also have members that are ISD folks that are there kind of in an advisory or to answer questions and to help the group. And we do this because it helps to bring in the local values of the community and so that they are reflected in the health education that's done for our students. And it helps connect health and learning. It's very important for schools to teach healthy habits for our students so that they can realize their individual dreams. The mission statement for Red Oak ISD SHAC is to advocate for a healthy environment, promote school health and safety, and encourage healthy lifelong practices. And that is what we're striving for. The goal that we have is to advise, and our role is to be to advise the decision makers on any of the needs or assets related to health knowledge and skills and policies and procedures that impact our students' health and the environment that our children are in. Whole health, whole community, whole child model is what we go with. And it's a collaborative effort with child nutrition, physical exercise, community, parent involvement, employee wellness, so that our children are healthy, safe, engaged, challenged, and supported while they're at school. We hold regular meetings. We are mandated to do 4 meetings a year, but if we're working on a project that requires more, then we're more involved and have special called meetings. We periodically meet with the school board, but we provide recommendations. That's all we do. We look at the information and we discuss it, and then we make the recommendation to the board. Health education curriculum is what we're specifically looking at, but we want to make sure that it is geared toward the age level of the children that are getting that program. There is a coordinated school health, which is cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, exercise, nutrition. There are 3 programs that are approved by TEA. One is CATCH, the other is BNSTAR, and then there's one called the Body Shop. We adopted in 2011 the BNSTAR program. Last year, our accomplishments, we recommended the revision of the human growth and development and human sexuality programs to be only aimed for success, and we do that in 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 11th. Before, we had a program called Choosing the Best, which was, we felt that they were very outdated. The students felt very outdated films. It was a workbook that they had also, and it took a lot of class time. We felt that time was better spent for them on core subjects. And so we went with the assemblies, which are 1-hour assemblies. We reviewed the new health and physical education curriculum materials. Some of us were invited to be part of the textbook adoption committee, and we were involved. We got to talk to the publishers, go to Region 10, see programs, see different lessons, and then the best that were chosen, I know we went and we viewed while they did the programs with the students, and it was interesting to see the students' reaction. Also talk to the teachers and how they liked the program that they were working with. The other thing that we did at the end of the year, or the beginning of this year, was participated in the Back to School Bash, which has assisted and procured some agencies and community groups that came to help promote health and safety. We have talked about what we want to do and identified areas we want to discuss. We had our first meeting at the beginning of this month, and the Back to School Bash everyone wants to continue with. It's a great program. Putting it along with what used to be the Back to School Fair, a lot of community members come, and it's a great way to get information to the community about services that are available throughout our area and region. And we had a number of our SHAC people that were there and helped assist, and so they really are into that. They want, and I think we have the date set, they're already talking, let's go ahead and let's get these people involved now and get agencies coming. We wanted the rollover car to show the importance of car safety seats. And so we're trying to get everybody set up now because we're looking at that first Saturday in August for the Back to School Bash. And I was really pleased with the participation of SHAC this year. We're going to review the bylaws of SHAC. That's been brought up as something that needs to be done. And drug education program for parents regarding fentanyl. A couple of our members had attended the impact meeting. And fentanyl is in Ellis County, and our concern is, like with the rainbow fentanyl, making it more desirable for the little ones, and it looks like candy, and we're fearful of what will happen. So we talked about having a program for our parents involved with that. We also talked about, one parent brought up a thing about car safety, because the children get put into the car lines very quickly, and maybe there should be a place where they could pull over and then get out and buckle in their little, like they're pre-Kers, make sure they're safe before they're pulling out into traffic. So those are the things that we're looking at. Membership, I have 2 slides on people that are members. We have every school represented. Red Oak Elementary had 2 parents that wanted to be involved, which is exciting. We used to fight to try and get people to come on our group, but we're very lucky in the last few years that people have wanted to participate. Our chair this year is going to be Cassie Street, who is a parent representative from the high school. Our vice chair is Callie Roberts, who's a parent from Eastridge. And Brittany Alexander is a parent from Red Oak Elementary that wants to be the secretary this year. So here's our list of members, or proposed members, that we bring forward for you to review and approve, if you would, to serve on the council for 22-23 school year. And then if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer or get the information for you.
For your staff that come from the campuses, do they meet, like a parent that comes from Red Oak Elementary, do they have a meeting at Red Oak Elementary and then they bring suggestions or information?
No,
from their
what they
campus, or-
do is, they have not. If there are things that the school is interested in bringing to us, yes. But then they also take back what we're talking about and things that we're looking at and take it back to their PTAs and to their parents. And so there is a collaborative effort back and forth with different things. Yes, it is open dialogue both ways.
Okay. And for those that are on the list, I think most of these have been on the list for a couple times. Does everybody participate in the meetings?
We do, that's one thing that, we have been doing Zoom meetings since COVID, and our group has opted this year to continue. We have a better attendance with the Zoom meetings. More parents are able to, it's easier when they have children to just, come on the meeting for an hour. I would say, depending on the topic, we can have a lot of discussion and a lot of interaction. Sometimes it can be kind of quiet on the other end. But it really depends. When we were looking over human sexuality and growth and development programs, that one we had a presentation and there were a lot of questions and a lot of sharing of ideas and the group explaining what their program is and values and that sort of thing. So, it's good. We at one point too were having it that we were doing the programs, and it got so that it was mainly the people from the district that were there coming, but we're having more interaction now. I'm happier with how things are going of late.
Thank you.
We have board members. Thank you for the nights they've been attending when able. We have a pediatrician, a local pediatrician that is one of our members that can give us a lot of information. So people that have lived in the community for long term are community members that don't have children still in the district. So we have a wide variety of people. We have a nurse that just started that is from Children's.
Okay, thank you.
So, any other questions?
So how many do we have as members?
I didn't count the list. I know the majority are parents. I think we have like 16.
Okay.
I think I have 8 on each page, so yes, 16 members. But only the voting members are only our community members and our parents. If we work for the district or associated with the district, we cannot vote. So anytime there's voting, it has to be with the majority of the parent community members. And right now, we currently only have 2 community members, the rest are parents.
So do you have to have a quorum to
Yes.
do your?
Yes, we do.
And the law calls for the school board to appoint 5 names of the members.
I think that is covered here when we're bringing member names to you and you approve them, then that's an appointment for them to be on it. They're not officially on this committee. These are the names we're bringing forward for you.
I have a question about the human sexuality. The law says that that 2 public meetings are held. How is that being done?
We had our SHAC meetings are open meetings, so we had met the requirement in that manner. We had been discussing it the year before and then also last year. Our meetings are Zoom meetings, so they're recorded, and we also have meeting minutes. Those need to be posted within 10 days after our meetings. Also, we have to meet the Open Meeting Act where they have to be posted 72 hours in advance with an agenda. And that just all changed last year.
Where are they posted so people can know?
They're on each campus in their main area, also here at ESC. And it is posted, I believe, on the website also.
Yeah, it says on the website. So we do have things from this on the website. Good.
Are the Zoom meetings open meetings?
Yes,
I mean,
they are. Anyone
it's
can.
posted and anybody can go on and.
Correct, yes.
And so they look under SHAC at the website.
Yes,
and
if
they
you
can
go
see.
into the health department,
Okay.
it goes to the health department, and on the left are a list. SHAC is one of those items, and all our information is posted there.
If they're on a Zoom and somebody, like, say I got on there, is the extra person that just comes on to listen, are they able to ask questions or talk and participate, or just the people whose names?
We have people that attend and will ask questions and participate. They would not be voters,
Right.
but they are able to listen in because it is an open meeting. And yes, we don't have it so that you can't. We do allow input.
Okay, I just wondered if on the Zoom, sometimes you Zoom something, but you're muted at the bottom where you can listen and see what's going on, but you can't talk.
Vicki takes over, and we just allow them in to enter, and so they can participate.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I guess if you would vote on our membership for this year.
Yep, do we have a motion?
I move that the board approve the list of council members for SHAC for the 2022 and 2023 school year.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Sebring, a second by Ms. Porter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 7-0.
And thank you for all of you that volunteer to do that. That's a role that's been, like Sue mentioned, that an area that was really lacking participation from our our parents and from our community members, and we really appreciate y'all stepping up and doing that. It's a piece that we need to have some overview and input from y'all, so thank you.
Last, we have a consideration and approval of Strong Foundations math programs. Ms. Sulak.
So Strong Foundations is an effort by TEA with input from a lot of districts who have really bounced back quite quickly after COVID. They have, one of the consistent inputs they gave was that having a strong foundational framework document or process has allowed them to make decisions to ensure that everything is moving in the same direction. The districts have cited the alignment of a strong research-based instructional framework as a crucial step in bouncing back after learning loss. It provides a unified vision of success and serves as a rallying point for stakeholders around the universal why behind initiatives adopted to support student growth. Some of the areas that it really targets or that decisions play into it are curriculum and instruction materials, instructional decisions, and assessment decisions. It is a laid out process of building a roadmap, building a communications plan, a collective learning series, then the development of a district, in our case, math framework, and then implementation of that framework. The work is done by a committee of stakeholders. We have gone about it with an application process. The gaps that we had in representation from some campuses, we've done some recruiting. So it was very much a voluntary and people who were passionate about it and wanted to participate. We were required to choose a provider, and I think the state provided a list of 31, 32 providers to choose from. A lot of the service centers were on that list, including Region 10. We went through the list the first time and looked for providers that really focused on just academics, that if they were branching into other stuff, we kind of ruled them out. We also looked at experiences the team had had with the providers or various other entities, and then we actually interviewed 3, Carnegie Learning, ESC 10, and the Meadows Center for Prevention of Educational Risk. We decided that for a variety of reasons, the Meadows Center best met our needs. They would be able to provide that strong support. The reason I'm here tonight is because of the money we got, we're required to spend 70% with that provider. That is an all-inclusive. There won't be any more nickel and dime kind of stuff. They cover the process. They actually do all the reporting to TA on the district's behalf as far as submitting documents that are produced. We as a district received $100,000 for this work. Some of that will be used for stipends for the committee members that participate because it will involve some after-school time. So we want to compensate the staff participating for that work. 100,000, 70%. So 70,000 of it does have to go to the provider, which is the Meadows Center. And because that is over the threshold, we need board approval to make that expenditure. I am happy to answer any questions you have about it.
What levels of math are we talking about?
Great question. It is primarily focused early learning, foundational. So it technically reads as pre-K through 3, but we have included all the levels all the way up to ensure that we're having a system-wide process and a system-wide framework.
Okay, do we have, when I get that part of it, do we have something like your higher level math when you get into middle school and you get into high school? There's basic requirements when you get to college. They expect you to know some certain level, right? Are we ensuring that when our kids are graduating from school, that they're able to go to college and hit these levels with minimal? And some are going to struggle, but with minimal effort.
We have very strong math teachers throughout, especially at our high school. This is designed to be foundational and then built up. So our math teachers at middle school and high school will continue to do the great job they have, but this, we want their input on this so that as we build from the foundation up, that it will fit with and align with what they currently do. So we have gone above and beyond, including the middle school and high school levels as we do this work.
She's saying that she included the whole bid.
I understand. So, love our teachers, but there's a gap. You have a gap with what's coming out of your high school, what's going into college. Some of it was COVID related, right? The kids have to take classes online. There's a gap. We need to make sure we're closing those gaps.
Absolutely.
And if we're not teaching what the colleges are expecting these kids to know, then we need to correct that, fix that. I mean, it's not that I'm not saying we don't have the teachers don't have the knowledge and the ability to do it. We need to make sure that the curriculum that we're teaching,
Correct.
It matches that it
The next
prepares them for
level.
that next level. Right?
Part of this work is looking at that big picture and where we want our kids to go. And a lot of this work will focus on what our beliefs are as a district in math instruction, what our vision is as a district for math instruction, and that will carry up into those upper levels. And as we look at resources, as we look at curriculum, as we look at instructional strategies, we can go back to this beliefs, system of beliefs, this framework, and the vision that we build there to address all levels.
Okay. Thank you.
They're giving us the money for the early, but we're
I
going to
know, I
include
understand.
everybody.
I understand. I just want to catch it all. So I do have a question, though. I mean, not every kid's going to go to college. Some are going to take those. Some are going to go right out into the workforce, right? So, one of the questions I think you hear a lot of people talk about: can these kids make change? Can they? This is math, right? Learning how to count and make change. There are kids that are still struggling, although the register will tell you how much change you get back.
You're right.
They still have to figure out what makes what. So
I'm going to be honest with you, making change ends, the instruction of that ends, what about
Third grade? Yep, third grade.
Can we take that a little higher?
We absolutely can, but that's where the teak for it is. So, we're going on to so many other things after that. I agree, it's a life skill that is essential.
I gave back $12 to 7-Eleven because they gave me too much change.
I hear
So,
you.
if we could extend that up a little bit,
There
if
you
you
go.
agree, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do we have any other questions?
Got a remedial class in 12th grade, but the last 6 weeks.
How does this tie in with our current math? We have some math curriculum we extended recently.
So all of that will be taken into account. That's why the work is being done locally instead of somebody somewhere telling us what it's going to be. They'll facilitate the process with our people looking at what we currently have in place. We'll identify future needs as a result of, but we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're starting with what we have and building on that.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to the approval of the payment of $70,000 to the Meadows Center for Preventing Educational Risk for service and approved provider of the Strong Foundations Framework Development Process.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight and a second by Mr. Sebring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. That concludes our action items for tonight. At the back of your board books, you will find information items. The time is 9:23 p.m. And the board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to multiple Texas Government Code codes as listed on the agenda. I'm sorry.